I'll start by asking about team news. We watched the team train a little earlier on. No Leah Williamson, no Olivia Smith. How are they both?
Leah Williamson is not going to make it for tomorrow. She's progressing well, but too early. And otherwise, there's a lot of individual management with the short turnaround. So you didn't see Liv on the pitch, but everyone's on the individual programs.
And the three players who are away at the Asian Cup, Steph Catley, Caitlin Ford, Kyra Cooper-Cross, I understand they're back. Are they expected to be available tomorrow?
No, so they landed early this morning. They're staying at home today. They'll be in for a short session, some gym work tomorrow, but they won't be available to play tomorrow.
And in terms of the match, you set some history at the weekend by becoming the first WSL manager to be unbeaten in the first 16 home matches. How does it change the way you approach this two-legged tie, given the fact that the first leg is at home where you have been so strong?
Yeah, we love to play at the Emirates. Of course, it's a special stadium. It's a special atmosphere. So many fans. So we want to bring energy with the way we play, and we know that the fans are always bringing us energy as well. So we look forward to this occasion, and it's part of the draw that we will play at home first. But I think with the last game we played at the Emirates in the sun, early days, and now tomorrow under the lights, we love to be at the Emirates, so I think it's a good start for us in these two legs.
And in terms of Chelsea, they're often described as mentality beasts, just the way that they perform consistently, but they've had some difficulties this season. From an outside perspective, what have you made of their season?
I think all teams go through different phases, and it's much easier said than done to just be unbeaten and be at your highest level constantly across seasons. If you look at Chelsea and what they've been doing, I think they've been excellent at doing that for a very long time. All teams go through phases, like I just said, and if I look at their team and their squad, they have a lot of quality. So we're very prepared to play against a very good team tomorrow at the Emirates.
Arsenal is still the only English team to have won the Women's Champions League, particularly when you go up against a team like Chelsea, another English team. How much does that make you really want to preserve that record?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we had an amazing season last year in the Champions League and won it previously as well, and I feel grateful that Arsenal have that history, but it's now a new season, times change, and all our focus is on doing it again. We love that feeling of winning the trophy in Lisbon, and I think every player will say they want to experience that all over again, and it's not easy. So yeah, we're proud of what we've done in the past, but now we just want to do it all over again.
And finally, I know René was asked about this, so I'll ask you, Alessia. Of course, tomorrow we'll see two fantastic female coaches go head-to-head, and Sonia, of course. FIFA recently brought into play a ruling that will require every team to have at least one female member of staff on their coaching team at international tournaments. For you, what do you make of that approach? And as a player, what do you think the pathway is like for players going into coaching? Is there enough there?
Yeah, I feel really fortunate to play for René and Serena, both incredible female coaches leading the way, and yeah, I'm lucky to learn off them, and hopefully that inspires girls to want to go and do that for themselves and create their own journey. So I think it's a shame that it has to be put into place, but hopefully that sets up more people going forward to be in those kinds of roles and have role models like René and Serena to learn from.
Thank you. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hi René. Can I just ask to clarify on Leah, are we likely to see her this side of the April international break?
I hope so. That's the plan. So it's not a big issue. We just have to be smart and have to find the right moment, and when her body is fully ready to have her playing again for us.
And in terms of preparing for this game, I feel like Arsenal-Chelsea games have a real theme where one team does something and the next game there's a response. I feel like the teams respond to each other quite a lot. And then you add in Chelsea have got so many injuries at the moment. It kind of seems like it's maybe quite difficult to read what they'll do, and you've got the two legs factor. I mean, what's it been like for you and your staff preparing for this game and preparing for Chelsea?
It's of course been a very short turnaround from the West Ham game. So we've had 2 full days to prepare. Doesn't mean that the work hasn't started earlier. So there's a lot of work already been done. But all the details were setting these 2 days. I think there is an unpredictability with how Chelsea is going to come out and how they're going to play this first game at the Emirates. What shape they'll play in, what players they'll have available. So we'll just have to be ready for all scenarios. There's the bigger pictures where we have to prepare scenarios. But on the other hand, there's also us focusing on ourselves and what we want to bring to the game regardless.
Thanks. And Les, can I ask you, in terms of like your, I guess, level of consistency this season, watching from the outside, it feels to me like you've gone to another level this season in terms of performance and consistency of performance. Does it feel like that to you as well?
Thanks, but I think, I'm just enjoying football. I say that all the time. We've got so many great players that I get to play with week in, week out, and I think that when you get to this point of the season, you're used to playing with everyone. You know what you're going to get from your teammates and how you can best set them up in different areas. So I think the whole team in general is in a really good place. Training's fun, and we're performing well in the games as well. So hopefully that continues. But yeah, I'm feeling good and confident and very happy in this team.
And your scoring record as well is really good across competitions this season. But both last season and this season in the Champions League in particular, scoring a lot of goals. Have you ever reflected or thought about what it is about the Champions League, particularly the variety of goals you scored this season that really seems to suit you?
I mean, I'm not sure I've thought too much into it, but I think you come up against so many different styles of teams in Champions League, and I love that. I love diving into different styles of football and playing against different kinds of systems. So I think that's something that I really enjoy in the Champions League. And yeah, I came to Arsenal for these Champions League nights, and I think, I just feel really grateful to play in them. And every player in our team will say that Champions League nights under the lights are really one thing that they look forward to.
Thanks. Hello.
Hi Renee. I was at the last 2 Chelsea games, and I'm not going to make a joke about it.
I was laughing already, yeah.
And they were really good in both first halves, and then they sort of fell apart in the second half, sometimes to do with substitutions and stuff. And I wondered if have you studied those last 2 games, London City particularly? They just had no clue in the second half, and London City should have won the game.
Yeah, of course we've watched those games, and we pick up on really good detail. Our analysts do an amazing job, and but every game is different. It's different challenges, different opponents. Personnel can change. All we know is that Chelsea's games they are strong in certain phases of the game, in certain periods in the game, and we have to be ready for that. And there will be momentum shifts, so there will be phases where we are strong, there will be phases where they will be, and I think it's about who manages those moments the best way. But we're definitely preparing for a very strong Chelsea coming out tomorrow.
The other thing that was notable on Saturday was Chelsea put out their youngest first 11 since 2013. Like there were sort of 17-year-olds and stuff. She was really good, by the way, the 17-year-old. And it strikes me that maybe tomorrow you're both going to have very young benches.
I think there's injuries, there's the Asia Cup, so both teams having players away, players missing. But I also think it's important, of course, that in the top teams you see often the winning teams. I've been doing some studies that the average age is quite high. If you look at historically the Champions League, for example, and what the squads look like, I think it's important to have experience, but it's also very important to have young players because the game is growing so fast. So we're going to need those young players who are growing with the game. So they're going to play a huge role, I think, in the here and now in the next coming years. So it's great to see that young players get opportunities.
When you play against Chelsea, which you do many, many times now, there's so many of their players who are like your mates. And how hard is it when you're going into a tackle or whatever and it's your actual mate?
I mean, I think everyone will say as soon as the whistle blows, you kind of put that aside. Before and after the game, we'll always be friends, but in that 90 minutes, we'll do everything we can to win the game.
But is there anything, because of you doing watching so many England camps where you are mentally in the, you know, in the memory bank, putting in the little things where you think there's maybe a blind spot for, I don't know, say something like Hannah Hampton?
I think obviously I get to play with amazing players and you learn lots about them, and yeah, whether things can help you in the games, I don't know. That's what we have the analysts for, to do all the research. But yeah, I think, like I said, your friends always before and after, but in the game we'll just do whatever we can to win.
Because your pace, I think, could be the key, I think, your pace on the turn, etc. Because that's what Chelsea were quite poor at the weekend. They were turned very easily, and through the diagonals they were beaten.
Yeah, we've looked at a lot of things that can try and break Chelsea down. I mean, we're very aware that they're a top side and they're used to competing at the highest level, but so are we. So we're prepared, we're feeling good. We've had a good few days of diving into them and looking at where we can hurt them, but also being ready for what they're going to offer too.
Look out for Thompson, by the way. She's very good at being.
Thanks for the tip. We'll come through to the call now. Kit, just do a couple of quick ones from the call, please.
Sorry, turn myself off mute probably helps. Hi both. Sort of kind of question for both of you. Like Arsenal v Chelsea games are always really highly charged, emotional occasions because of like the rivalry that exists, even with the fans. If nothing else, you'd imagine that on a European night under the lights, that's going to be even more intense. So how will you, I suppose, channel those intense emotions in a positive way tomorrow?
Yeah, no, I think for us it's one of our strengths. I think it's a big occasion, of course, but we know we're at our very, very best when we're task orientated. Yeah. And that's one of the big strengths in our team. So we want to stay in control for as much as possible because we know that we can make the best decisions on the pitch. But of course, there's passion as well, and that can give us a couple of extra percentages. If you ask me my role, I want to stay as controlled as possible and as composed as possible for us the full 90 minutes, because I think that's going to help the team make really good decisions. And the passion and the fire will be there anyway, because we'll play a Champions League quarterfinal against Chelsea.
And Alessia, just one for you. Obviously, this just feels like a very big game, a big occasion between two such strongly supported clubs finally playing in the Champions League. As someone who's experienced so many of like the big kind of moments, I guess, for English football over the past few years, whether that's with Arsenal or the Lionesses, does this at all feel like potentially another one of those kind of massive moments in the rise of the sport to you?
Yeah, I mean, it obviously feels like a big game. I think it's great for fans locally that they get to see two top English clubs go together in a Champions League quarter-final, which is great for the women's game in England. But I think last year I would have had the same mindset going into the quarter-final against Real Madrid. So I think at the end of the day, it's a quarter-final of a competition that we want to do everything we can to be successful in. So yeah, the mindset stays the same, but I'm aware that for English fans and women's football in England, it's a massive game.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, guys. Probably going to have to leave it there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
I'll make a note next time, right?
Yeah, please.
It was.
Yeah.
It didn't even need to. It was just the anticipation.
I know, she just started laughing anyway.